Hey, welcome back
Okay.
everybody to the Mechanics of Poetry. This is episode, season 2, episode 16. So we're almost finished with season 2. Every session in season 2, we're interviewing a poet, looking at 3 of their poems to really enjoy their poetry. And of course, find out how to get our hands on that poetry after that. So today's guest poet has a name I'm going to try to pronounce correctly. Chibuike Ugonna?
Yeah, Chibuike Ugonna.
Yeah, and I did okay. All right, that's all right. And as is our tradition, you can say whatever you like before we do the first poem. Is there anything you'd like to say before we start?
Oh, thank you. I first would want to apologize for being late to the recording sections. I had a couple of technical faults from here. Over here in Nigeria, the network can be very bad. And to that, I need to say, I'm sorry about the late coming. Okay, and secondly, I am Fidelis Chibuike Onoha. My pen name is Chibuike Ugonna. I have just been published my book of poetry titled Stone Descent, which was published by Butt Naked Publishing. It's online, it's out. It is a collection of energetic poems that discusses the Igbo man's audio and the Biafran plights with some other poems. So it is my single honor being here on Poetry Mechanics.
Okay, and if I understand correctly, these 3 poems we're looking at today are from your book, Stone the Saints, correct?
Yes, correctly. They are from Stone the Saints.
All right, let's get started. Go ahead and read the first poem.
Okay. The first poem is titled Nostalgia. All right. I sit and think of days that have faded ignorantly, ingloriously, lost to the part of time. That undefeated villain, whose hands no man can turn. I speak of the days when the trees were green, when the rain was long and the fields clean. Days when the grasshoppers had a field day in the field, and humans had houses that were homes. The days I danced in no direction, under the rain in company of other happy children, whose innocence lay in the threadbare pants that could hardly cover the face of our buttocks. These were the days of live and let live, when our roasted yam and oil was a heavenly delicacy. Meal, a luxury of reward for our good behavior. Those meals that tasted better when given by the strong, hairy hand of Papa. Those days have long waved us a bye. Moons and seasons have long passed by. Now, the grasshoppers are homeless. The fields are no more. The trees are gone, murderously hacked down by the wooden ass of modern men, who in their bid to house themselves have unhoused others. Today's children cannot understand the rain. They think she's awkward and an enemy. These awkward children. Even Papa is no more. His hairy hands, I hate to think, a difficult meal for the termites. I hate termites, but I think
yeah, it moved quickly on you there.
Okay. is this?
It's probably page by page, so you have to go back one page, I think. I'm not sure. Oh, that poem was really going good too.
Yeah, I think I got this wrongly.
Yeah, well, okay, you know what I'm gonna do? I don't want you to stress here, and people have to buy the book anyway if they want to read the whole thing. So I'm gonna comment on what I saw, and then we'll go into your second poem, because I took a lot of notes about the first poem, so I can talk about it without even seeing it.
Okay.
I want to tell you this right now about your poem. I loved the beginning of the poem because it was an invocation to your life. There was understatement, some really delicious understatement in your poem where, you know, you're talking about how difficult it is, and you do it in such an understated way. It's very nice. You had the strong visual. I mean, Papa was the main character, obviously, and, you know, the guy with hairy hands, and this is something everybody can relate to. And then you had what we like to call the Volta, right? There was a switch, there was a shift from your Papa to society. And I find it very interesting that you were talking about the wooden axe, because I'd never heard that before. I've heard of iron axes, but the wooden axe. So that was intriguing. And it got resolved later on in the poem with that deeply ironic ending that I saw, where your Papa, you know, had died and was being eaten by termites, which are famous for eating wood. So it made me correlate those two. And so your poem not only had a personal sense, it had a political power. And I think I just described your poetry right there. This guy's a great poet. Let's go to his second poem. Go ahead and read your second poem, and this one even takes it up a notch. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, the second poem is titled The Igbo Boy. The Igbo Boy. I am a black boy, proud son of the sun, whose roots run deep, deep into the most hard soil of the land. The boy blessed richly with melanin, whose crisp growing dark hair stands aloof with grace, like the orgy tree growing atop the vantage spots. I am the being infused with the rare qualities of the palm tree, the revered palm with its tall and strong frame, standing tall amongst envious trees, yet generous with wine and oil. I stand tall, productive, and unwavering, unyielding to the harsh wind blowing across the Sahara, the Niger, furtive retrogressive wind that burns the black boy nuts. I am the envy of the envious, with my head armed with a brain, and the hand steadfast with a hoe. I dine on the path where scribbling quill crisscrosses toiling stronghold in a combat of productivity. I am the face of the Kwashako children, hungry blackface left to die for the failure of Aburi, dead and resurrected fakes of the undead. I represent the many whimpering in silence, the lot smiling in hurt, the unforgiving innocent led to the altar of slaughter at the hand of unrefined hate. I am the legs trekking the streets of Anambra, across the slopes of Imo, beyond the plains of Abia, the hills and the valleys of Enugu, and the rocky terrains of Ebony. I am the Messiah of the Black race, the torchbearer of a dim world, bearing the good news of Tipu Okike. I am the Igbo boy. Thank you.
All right, we got the whole poem there. That's great. Wow, yeah, say, I've seen this poem before. That's why I was able to say that I knew this poem had a lot of political power. It's in the lines, people. Take a good look at the lines. And the thing my first reaction right off I want to give is something I think everybody's going to agree with me on. And that is that the way you read is very clear and powerful. And it makes your poetry even more enjoyable to read. Because you are, like your poem says, you are the representative. You represent your people. And you do that so well. One of the trademarks of your poetry is understatement, right? You have that line, which I got to find it now. Oh, I just had it. Yeah, it's the 5th line of the poem. The boy blessed richly with melanin. Okay, that is such a beautiful way of saying it. And a little farther down, you have some really great declarative statements, right? This is something that I like to think all poets know, that there's power in declarative statements. I mean, imagery is wonderful. It's necessary. Like I'm being infused with the rare qualities of the palm tree, right? That's fabulous. But a declarative statement will say something like, I am the envy of the envious. Okay, that's so powerful. And it even goes on, with my head armed with a brain and a hand steadfast with a hoe. It's a good marriage of visual richness and declarative declaration. We'll just say declaration instead of declarative statement. What else did I have to say? Toward the end here, you mentioned being a torchbearer. It was in here somewhere.
Yeah, the torchbearer.
Yeah. So I like your acknowledgement of what you are. I mean, knowing who you are and what you're trying to do, I think is wonderful. And even on a personal level, I found it enjoyable, just me, okay, that you say, I am the legs trekking the streets of Anambra, which to me sounds like where I live, Alhambra. That's a fun coincidence there. It really makes me feel even more to be able to associate that something is similar to something else. I love that when that happens in a poem. And you can never intend to do that, I think. So that's just, it just seals it in my heart even more. And toward the very end, there it is, I found it. I am the Messiah of the Black race, the torchbearer of a dim world. That's that same understatement, but so accurately portrayed. All right, well, only one more poem to go. This is wonderful so far. I don't remember what the third poem is going to be. What's the third poem?
Yeah, the third poem is...
Is it there?
Yeah, it's right here. A second.
Okay. Yeah, because your program looks very different. This looks like a page program.
Okay.
Yeah, so just the whole page. Wow, okay, stories.
Stories, yeah.
Yeah, you had it there.
Oh, it's right here.
You're back at the start. Okay, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, please read, sir.
I think when I'm done reading this, I will need to say a little thing about the poem.
Okay.
Okay. Stories. This is the grim fate of the Igbos in the 1967-1970 Civil War. Okay, and stories. I will tell you stories, tales of fall and glories, stories that will make you cry and smile, tales stored away in bloody lives fire. Under the Odara tree we shall sit, while I tell the tales as memories see fit. Let the shining moon bear me witness to this, that the mouth voices as the story is. Many, many moons ago, there was a brief battle of ego, generals of war who could no longer feast. One from the north, the other from the east. Fin became the unity chord, hence the need for an Aburi accord. But ego was replaced by ethnic grudge, slowly dragging the peace of a land to sludge. The drums of war echoed distant and loud. Tense and dark became a once bright cloud. A nation was born, land of the rising sun. But Northland said, no, and began a tragic run. I tell you, my sons, this land knew madness. The eastern shore was overrun by a sea of sadness. Mothers wailed in protest of their teens, so tender, conscripted by force with a service to render. Young maidens, through brute force, flowers plucked, fragile victims of war, lost innocence, their luck. Blessed in the laws of flower, it be their only gain. Glad no new life had been somehow retained. Crying out, my children, but put on a smile. For these vanquished people rose up in style. This is the story of our people who fought with valor, worthy heroes and knights in shining armor. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
This story is one that I am very emotional about, because it summarizes the Igbo man's ordeal in a very unfair civil war, where the Easterners, the Igbos occupy the eastern part of Nigeria, had to fight the Nigerian army.
Okay.
And I mentioned somewhere around here that it's a story that will make you cry and smile. Generals of war who could no longer feast. When the things that accumulated into this war started up, there was a treaty that was done in Aburi. Aburi is a city in Ghana, Western Africa. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the two warring generals met in Aburi, but then as soon as they came to Nigeria, they couldn't keep this accord. Hence, the war broke out. A lot of things happened to the Igbos. The world kept quiet. The Igbos died in millions. As a matter of the fact, a lot of young girls were raped. Thousands of children died in millions. I think in millions, it was recorded that 2 million children died from Kwashiorkor and Mirasmus, because the Nigerian army also deployed a strategy known as the hunger strategy. All the routes that was used to bring in relief materials to the east was blocked, hence a lot of people died from hunger. Until this day, we still see this story reigniting. Same story, different stage. And by this, I wish the entire world we understand what the Igbo man has gone through. This is the reason culminating to the agitation of the Biafran nation to date.
And this has been something that I didn't know has been going on for 55 years. That's amazing.
It's been going on.
Well, you did a great job of summing up your poem. Thank you for explaining that. All I can add is my appreciation of the poem. This poem has an element the other two did not. It's using rhyme. And it seems to be so natural here, though. I mean, the rhyme, it works because I guess you're wielding rhyme very effectively. The one that affected me the most, far and away, it was the most beautiful image and the most tragic image. It was toward the end of the first stanza where it says, young maidens through brute force, flowers plucked, fragile victims of war, lost innocence, their luck. Blessed in their loss of flower, it'd be their only gain. That's very moving. It's a beautiful image, but it's a horrific image at the same time. Yeah. And war, as we all know, war is just the greatest tragedy of them all. It's a failure of humankind to engage in war. It definitely is. To oppress other people. I like to think it'll revisit the oppressors, right? But in the meanwhile, innocent lives are lost. And your poetry is helping educate people about this. And that's so very important. And that's why I'm very glad that my co-host has published your book. It was a very necessary thing to get this book published so people can read about this. I guess I can say his name very safely, G.T. Foster. That's a good man to know. And there's really one last thing we need to do, and that is something you already alluded to, and that is this book is now available. Where is it available?
Yeah, it is available on Amazon and on buttnakedpublishing.com.
Okay, that's good. Amazon's very large, so it'll be easy to find your book. Again, it's called, did I write it down? What's that title again?
Stone
the Saints. There, yeah. Stone the Saints. It's on Amazon. That's easy to remember, easy to search for, and get this book. Really essential reading, and I hope I'm gonna end this recording, and I'm going to put this up on YouTube so as many people as possible can learn about this book. So I'm going to hit that end button right now. Thank you.